and welcome to Fantastic Fun Folds. My name is Tatiana. I'm from Tatiana Creative Stamping Adventure and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia. Monday nights I do a video which I've been calling Fantastic Fun Folds, and it is what it exactly sounds. It is all about fun folds in card making. I'm a paper crafter, I am a paper craft addict, shall I say, and I enjoy making cards because they're quick and fun and easy projects to make, where you can make them as easy or as elaborate as you would like. And the thing is that you can send it to someone and really brighten their day and let them know that you are thinking of them. So there's a few people jumping on. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today. Today we are going to do a bridge fold card. So let's head to the craft desk and check it all out. Okay, so today, as I've already said, we're going to make a bridge card, and specifically a landscape folded bridge card, and we will be using this new stamp set in the annual catalogue from Stampin' Up!, All Things Fabulous. And it's well, they call it a two-step, but it's actually a three-step stamp. You layer these images up to create these beautiful flowers and all sorts of things, and I thought it would be a lovely card to make that. And I haven't had a chance to ink the stamp set. I only got it last week though, and it comes with, or it doesn't come with, you can buy fabulous floral dies which coordinate, so that means no fussy cutting out each of these flowers. So those three big flowers, there's these little bunches, and there's these two little flowers on stems, and these three leaves. So that's fantastic, no fussy cutting for those who do not like. But before we stamp, let's create our card base. Today I'm going to be using Just Jade cardstock, and this is a full A4 sheet, and I am going to cut it at 10.5 centimeters. So that's pretty much in half, not pretty much, it is in half, by 21 centimeters. And for those folks who use letter size cardstock and work in inches, your measurements are 4¼ inches by 8 inches. So this is 21 centimeters. And then we need to score. We're scoring 3 centimeters, lining that up, and then 6 centimeters from both ends. And for those in inches, you're scoring at 1¼ and 2½ inches. And that's if you're using letter cardstock. Those inch conversions are not the same proportion as what I'm using with the A4 cardstock. That is our card base. Then we also need to create the bridge of the card, and the bridge is 15 centimeters. So I'm going to trim this down to 15 centimeters. I'm just using the cutoffs, and then the height of the bridge doesn't really matter. I have chosen to do 3 centimeters today, but this bit, the height, you can make it as high or as narrow as you'd like. And for those in letter, your bridge is 5½ inches by 1¼ inch. And the next bit is optional. If you would like to have sort of a card, you'll see what I mean later. You'll need another piece of your card stock. Again, I'm using Just Jade. And this one is 9 centimeters wide. So I'm just using the bits that I've cut off from the full sheet of A4, and 11½ centimeters high. And in inches, that is, where are my notes? It's 3 inches high by 3 inches wide by 4¾ high. And then you're going to score the top at 1 centimeter, and in inches you're going to score 1/2 inch. So those are our bits, and then we also need, do we need, yes, we definitely need a card insert. Just grab some Whisper White. I had Whisper White for stamping, but not for cutting. So the Whisper White card insert is 8.5 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And in inches, that would be 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And I'm going to cut 2 of these just in case we want to use it. So that is everything we need with the trimmer, and I can put that to the side. And now we can create our folds. Highly recommend a bone folder at this point because you really want to burnish those score lines. I'm taking and folding in along the second score line and burnishing that, and then folding that back a bit like a zigzag. Hello Tanya and Kerry, thanks for joining me. And then flip and do the same the other side. So fold the second score line in and then fold the first score line back over. Nice and swell. And then the card bridge will sit on there. We won't put that on yet because we want to be able to stamp and decorate our card. And that basically forms the bridge card. So you can see this is the bridge. And then to keep it flat, it goes flat in an envelope. So that is the same size as a basic card front. And it folds nice and flat either way. And so it'll fit in a standard envelope, which is fantastic. Now the card bit, should we do that now? Yes, why not? So we've got this other bit that we scored and burnished. And we're going to, well, we haven't burnished, we scored. So let's burnish that. Rub that there. And now I'm going to take some Terran tape because I want this to be a nice secure adhesion. Is that a word? Adhesion. I want to adhere this nice and securely. And I like to use the pointy end of the Take Your Pick tool to peel the release paper off. And so this is the front with all the folds. And onto the back, lining this up. So what I do is I fold that flat, tap it down, tap both of these down and line the edges, the top and the bottom, and then stick that down. So that gives us a little place to flipping things. So the card is, when it's flat as so, when it's standing as so, and gives you a spot to write a message. Not as big as usual, but still you don't really want to write on top here because that's always seen and on display. So there we go, that's the basics. And we can add that one here. We'll see depending on the arrangement we come up with, but that one will definitely go there. So now for the fun bit, stamping. I'm going to take, I've got the Stamparatus foam mat simply because this is a photopolymer stamp set and I didn't want to, it's not that I didn't want to, it stamps a little bit better with a bit of foam underneath and gives you a little bit of, I don't know, even stamping I guess is the best way to describe it. So the layering of these stamps, I don't know, is, if I put the Whisper White behind you, she'll be able to see. Now these stamps are labeled. For example, this big one is labeled A1. This is 1A, 2A, 1C. So 1A, 1B, 1C. This is the 3 to layer on. So let's start with them. I did say I haven't had a chance to ink the stamp set yet. So I'm going to start with 1A. This is A. This is 1B. And that is the suggestion in stamping order as well. And 1C. And I recommend that you start with a lighter colour first. So I've picked Blushing Bride and Calypso Coral. And we're going to stamp 1A in, so a stamp off, half strength. So I'm going to ink that up, stamp it on my grid there, and then stamp down here. Is that on camera? I might just lift. Oh, it is. So I've got that nice lovely layer. Then I'm going to take 1B, ink it up again in Blushing Bride, but not stamp off this time. And you can see this groove here lines up with that little bit of a groove there. And just take a little bit of time for positioning, and we layer that color on. And then I'm going to take 1C in Calypso Coral, so a darker pink, and add that on top. Isn't that stunning? How beautiful is that? So I'm going to just stamp another 2. So this is 1A, stamped off, 1B, not stamped off, and 1C in a darker colour. You can play around with any combination you'd like. I haven't had the opportunity. Thank you, Margaret. Well, that wasn't very even inking. Helps when you hold the ink pad. So 1A, 1B. And look, it doesn't have to be fully perfect alignment. 1C. You can, I'm just going to experiment here and demonstrate. You don't have to stamp off. So that is 1A not stamped off. And I'm going to take 1B and again not stamp it off, but add that on top. So you're getting that shade. And what I'll do is take 1C, remove this Calypso Coral, and take 1C in the same petal pink, which is off screen, but stamp that again. And that is layering the same color over and over, which frankly looks quite beautiful as well. Let's try that. No, the Calypso, oh, let's try Calypso Coral. Why not? But I will do the first layer stamped off, because Calypso Coral is quite a dark color in comparison. So it was 1A, this is 1B. And you could just do 2 layers, really. You don't have to do all 3. But I'll do 3 as well. So it really darkens it. Hello, Joan. Thank you. So that is that first flower. I think we have enough. So I'm going to place them back, and let's take one of these other flowers. Okay, now for assembling the card. As you know, I do like to glue things down as I know that I'm finished with them so that they're not lying around. So this is the little card insert for writing a message. Jeez Louise. That's not good. Flopping things around. Flip flop. There we go. And now remember that this is going to be like that. I won't stamp on this. Maybe I will, but I will glue this down. So it's going to go in the center area of our card base. Feels like such a weird size, but it closes to be a regular card size. And now we can arrange some flowers. What I want to do is start from the back here. So I'm going to place my bridge flush to the bottom there. So I'm just making sure that I'm not placing anything in this bottom section, so I can just even use the bridge there as a bit of a guide. So I'm not going to place any flowers down there because they will be blocked from view essentially. I might place one. That one's semi-blocked. I really like that. I'm going to just, normally I arrange more. So what I'm going to do, because I'm not fully finished the arrangement, I'm only going to place glue in the middle of the flowers, and that allows me to add things behind without any issues of picking up glue. And so that can be there. We need some greenery here. Yep. Yes, I'm happy with that. We need to add, so let's bit by bit build our scene. Making sure it's not on the fold line, because if it ends up on the fold line, it can bend. So unless you want it to bend. So I'm slotting that one in behind there. You can go over the white because the white is slightly bigger than the folded area. And let's see, one there, that there, and one of those little ones. Where are the little, there it is. There, I like. So just adding glue and slitting it. Because I only added the glue to the middle of the big flowers, it allows me to arrange and place behind them. Overlap that a little bit. There, I really like that. So now I'm going to adhere our bridge and keep building. I don't know why I pointed it that way, but keep building the scene. So again, I would like this to be nice and secure. So I'm going to use tear and tape, which I teared a little bit too big. There we go. Brilliant. And that can be 2. Because our bridge is big enough to cater for that. Again, using my pointy tool of the Take Your Pick. You could also use your paper snips. And I'm going to line one up at the end each. So this corner is going to sit flush with that corner. So that's what I'm lining up. Now you can have it sitting up higher, kind of create a little bit of a gap at the bottom. It's really up to you where you place your bridge. And then fold that down and line that up. So there's the bridge. And we've got some flowers sitting in there, and now we can Now the flowers that we're sticking on top do not have to, they can float over, as in they can sit there on that edge without any issues. So I'm going to keep that flower right there, and I'm just looking at how it looks when it's folded this way and that way, and I really like that positioning. So I'm going to put my finger where I don't want glue and add the glue right there. And on this side, when I fold it that way, I'll add a little one. So just on the bottom of that flower, do we need a bit of glue? There we go. And then we can start adding all the other bits. So I can add some leaves there. The mint macaron looks really good. I'm not speaking well tonight, am I? Mint macaron coordinates well with the Just Jade. And have these bits going over the edge. The one thing that we should have done before gluing the bridge is the sentiment. That should have been stamped before. But work with what we have. See the sentiments. I'm here for you. I'm going to use that because it's nice and small and easy to stamp, even though we have already glued things together. So I'm using Just Jade ink on the Just Jade cardstock, and I'm adding it right there. It's almost in the middle, slightly off middle, which is perfect. There's my, always losing it. So that's nice and floral. I'm going to add, so it's just a matter of taking what you have and deciding. It's not too much, no, we won't add that. Oh, yes, I like it there. I do like it there. And don't go over the edge. Well, I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it will affect the way it fits into your envelope. So just be mindful of that. If I go over this edge or that edge, it will stop the card from fitting in the envelope, which isn't necessarily what you'd like to do. I'm going to add this little blue bundle there. Do you know what? That is good. You would like to nominate your mum. Thank you, Nick. I don't know if you've ever commented, so thank you so much for taking the time to watch and comment. No card is complete. We've decorated the inside, but what haven't we decorated? The envelope. Try to keep it simple. We will use the flowers that we already have on our, got that flower. Got a feeling I don't have the rest of that flower. Oh, there's one part, and there's the other part. So we're going to use the smaller flower, and I think we'll stamp on the front of the card, front of the envelope tonight, just to mix things up. Thank you, Margaret. So please keep the nominations coming. Actually, I'm going to be not a rebel, but I'm going to do something different. I always stamp at the top. I'm going to stamp at the bottom today. Oh, that's no good, Elizabeth. Absolutely, nominate away. Sorry to hear that your daughter's not coping with that. So the nomination will be drawn on Wednesday during my creativity time. The the nomination will be selected. There we go. And I do feel like we should add a leaf in the mint macaron. So just a small hint of florals on the envelope to say that's coming. My desk is so clean. That's code in this household for not clean. I'm sure everyone has the same code. Just moving things to the side so that we can, so the card stands up very well on its own, no support in that. The flap at the back, in fact, isn't even supporting it. It could kind of sit on the back as a bit of an easel, but it also sits nicely. So this bit is optional. If you don't really want to write too much, you can use that, and the card will stand on its own. And that just, this optional bit just gives you some space to write a little bit of a personal message that when your recipient receives in the mail and puts on display, that it won't be, the message isn't on display, is essentially. And this is how it would sit in the envelope. So either that way, so you could add some more, you could have some more smaller flowers, or even just a leaf or two here. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it. Leave it. Less is more sometimes. So as you can see, it still fits perfectly in our regular C6 envelopes. The sizings that I mentioned when doing the cutting for the letter means that it'll sit in your standard envelopes. I think they call it A2. I don't know. But it doesn't matter which way you fold. That way or that way, but yes. So anyway, keep the nominations coming. They'll be open for another day and a half. And I hope that you all have a wonderful couple of days, and I look forward to seeing you if you can make it live on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for some creativity time. Thanks so much. Bye for now.